Hi, Jamie. Welcome to Beetle Moment Marketing, the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I've been really excited to get you on the show. We are good friends and we talk about marketing and Instagram and all kinds of things related to social media all the time. And I feel like you have so much knowledge and experience to offer. So let's dive right into it.
Okay.
So tell me what you do for Wild Foods.
Yeah, so I'm the marketing manager, and I kind of handle all the various content that we deal with, mostly Instagram, also YouTube now as well. And there's a lot of other things that come my way as I assist my brother, who's the founder. So even though it's the marketing manager, it kind of has a lot of other duties as well.
Lots of hats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see you wearing lots of hats. You're always doing all these cool kind of on the ground promotions. Like the Wild Foods always has a presence at things like yoga nights, like the Tuesday downtown yoga in Austin, and you're always giving people the most incredible samples. You're so generous with it.
Yeah, I mean, I literally run around Austin in like my daily routine or even my like personal life, and I'm always meeting store owners and coffee shop owners and talking about Wild Foods. Is kind of just like in my DNA to discuss it, really.
Right. Well, I think that's one of the things that makes you a really good marketer is that you understand the power of relationships.
Yeah.
And everything is about people.
For
especially
sure.
with a product like Wild Foods, because I think like having the personal touch explain to you what's different and special about it, which anybody watching this, this is not to be a promotional thing, but I recommend Wild Foods products all the time. Like, if you're making anything in the Vitamix, you should have something from Wild Foods in there.
Yeah, for sure. Or coffee.
My
favorite.
Right. So lots of Instagram activity, and I follow Wild Foods. I know that you curate all of the content and everything. I mean, I've even been following it for probably like 6 or 8 months, and I've seen it improve even since then. And you do so much. Like, what tools do you use? Do you have a content calendar? What do you do to make it look so good? Like, you're always pouring the coffee and getting the shots with the products.
Yeah, so we actually there's two different angles here. You have your story, which is like an entirely like a big beast in itself, and then you have the actual main feed, which is different, and it almost grabs the audience's attention differently, like in different ways. So for our main feed posts, we use a program called Later, and it's super simple. You can schedule out all of your posts for months and months. I can't say that we have that many months scheduled out. It's a little crazy. Our schedule's a little crazy, but the goal is definitely to get that scheduled out so you don't have to think about it and it's automatically being posted. But it's also crucial to have quality content and copy in there.
Right.
We don't like just throwing pictures up for the sake of it. A lot of our posts they get pretty deep into, what you should be using or taking versus what you should not be using. So we don't always highlight Wild Foods products. We really are here to educate others on nutrition and kind of move away from that standard American diet. So back to the Instagram stuff. Our goal is just to try and educate and share why they need to, for instance, use organic coffee beans versus conventional.
Right.
So,
I love the stuff that you put out there, which your brand strikes such a nice balance of sometimes it is promotional. You are saying this is a great product, collagen peptides, whatever, but you also will have posts where it's just educational, like, about even things like hairspray or makeup or like the chemicals and the way that we're exposed to these toxins.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know that so here's what's interesting about Jamie, everybody. So Jamie does Wild Foods, but Jamie also does KetoLikeJamie, which is, that's your personal brand.
Yeah.
And it's a whole other account. There's some similarities, but tell us about KetoLikeJamie.
Oh, so KetoLikeJamie, I was basically always on like a paleo-ish diet, or not always. I used to eat terribly, but more so in the last like 4 years. I was always pretty much paleo. I tried to cut out the grains and make better choices and try to cut out the refined sugars. And then it was up until recently, probably about 6 months ago, that I implemented the ketogenic diet, and I probably won't go back. I feel so good on it. My energy is through the roof. And I do think that it closely resembles us being in nature. So it works for me. And I have such an issue with sugar. I'm a sugar addict and also have some binge eating issues. So I think that it helps me in all those areas tremendously.
Yeah. That's something, I mean, I can relate to everything you just said completely as far as having a sugar addiction, you know?
Yeah.
And
I think most Americans do.
Easily. Like, I grew up eating so much sugar. And but the thing I love about KetoLikeJamie, your brand, your persona online, which it's not it's you.
Yeah.
It's very authentic and it is you. But you're very real. Like, you're willing to say, I have a sugar addiction. I sometimes eat too much. Like, so do I. So do so many people. We all have our issues. And that's why people love following you.
Yeah, it wasn't that easy initially. I was that person, which you would never think now when you see me on there. I was that person who was like, oh, I can't do a story about this. I never even wanted to record my face. And, you know, fast forward 6 months, I'm like putting all my shit out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You are very much just out there.
Yeah, I learned to stop caring.
Yeah, which is great. And it's working for you. You're growing. And I know that you and I have talked about this offline, but you have so many ideas about things that you want to, you know, promote with KetoLikeJamie. And I think there's a huge audience for it. Which brings me to a question about Instagram influencers.
Okay.
Which is obviously this marketing du jour. Everybody wants to figure out, how do I get my brand marketed properly by an influencer?
Right.
And you see a lot of people like throwing spaghetti at the wall and just buying $500 or $1,000 or even $20 for some influencer to post, here's a product, there's a photo, in and out. And if it's on a story, it's there 24 hours and it's gone. So what works when it comes to influencers?
This is a fun one because it's not black or white. It really varies case by case, and I think a lot of times it can be very beneficial. If you know who your target demographic is, if you have the right influencer who believes in your product and stands for it and uses it, especially in our case, it can be a wonderful thing. We're not there yet. We're still a small company. We're in the process of opening our coffee bar like now, and so we would love to in the future have someone who we know stands by our brand, uses the product in their daily routine, and can promote it. That's something you want to pay for, especially if they have a following that is, you know, into your, like, in the natural holistic lifestyle. That makes sense. If we were going to go to some random girl that has 1 million followers because she's a model, she's not going to sell our product. Yeah. She may be able to sell like random protein powders, but at the end of the day, we need people who are in our niche industry. Yeah. And again, who use the product every morning. You have these influencers who have millions of followers, and they're promoting brands that are shitty. And that have chemicals in their products. And it's terrible because people are, all these young women or young people in general are following these influencers, and they're buying these products. They don't even know what's in them. Mm-hmm. And these companies are making millions of dollars off of this.
I think so many people are looking for an answer or a quick fix. And if you see somebody on Instagram that looks like they're in shape or they're beautiful or popular, and you think, well, they must be an expert in health or workouts or whatever. And you've seen this happen on your account where people are DMing you asking for like medical advice.
Oh, it's rampant.
Yeah.
And we're not even like one of the largest accounts. Like, they legitimately think that we're the gods of nutrition and that we're doctors. And so we're constantly telling people, you might want to consult your physician.
Yeah.
And not us.
Well, then again, a lot of Western medicine practicing physicians don't know anything about proper diet.
It's actually not something we like saying, but we kind of just have to.
Yeah, it's a legal CYA.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had doctors where I've said, I intermittent fast, and they're like, oh, you better not do that. That's dangerous. Got to get your protein, got to get your 3 meals a day and 2 snacks, please.
Yeah, no, that's old news.
Yeah, but that's a whole other topic. Anyway, I'm really interested to see what you do with Wild Foods. You're doing such a great job on social.
Thanks.
And also with KetoLikeJamie. Everybody knows that I'm a fan because I'll repost your stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like the only account that I do that for.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I feel special.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show here.
I loved it.
We'll talk again soon.
All right. Thanks, Emily.